In the heart of the galaxy, under a dome of silver light, the great alien council gathered. Dozens of powerful species filled the chamber. Some had skin made of crystal, some had wings of light, and others looked like living machines. They spoke in calm, proud voices about a small planet far away, a blue world called Earth. They laughed as they discussed it. To them, Earth was nothing. A primitive planet, a place of noise, pollution, and chaos. A world that fought its own kind for centuries. The council leader, a tall creature with gold eyes, stood and said that Earth was weak and not worth the effort. He said that humans had destroyed their own planet and could never be part of the great galactic order. But then, signal came through the main chamber. The holographic screen flickered with static. It was an old transmission sent in a strange human language. The words echoed through the hall. "We are still here, and we are coming." The laughter stopped. The room grew quiet. An old general, a reptilian being covered in silver scars, stood up slowly. His eyes looked far away, as if remembering something painful. He spoke in a low voice that carried across the chamber. "You fools! You don't know them. You don't know what they did to survive their own wars. You don't know what they become when they are pushed too far." The other council members ignored him. They believed humans were finished long ago. They remembered the invasion 50 years earlier when Earth cities burned under alien ships. They believed the survivors were dead or scattered. But the old general knew better. He had seen something during that war. He had seen humans fight even when they had no hope. He had seen them pick up alien weapons, learn to use them, and turn them back against their enemies. He had seen them adapt faster than any species he had ever known. As the meeting ended, the old general looked out through the glass walls of the chamber. Beyond the stars, he could almost feel the silence of that blue planet. It was not empty. It was waiting. Far away, deep inside the solar system, Earth was not quiet. The planet was scarred but alive. Under the broken cities and deep beneath the oceans, humanity had built something new. Hidden bases powered by stolen alien reactors. Ships made from the ruins of fallen invaders. Every continent had secret tunnels and hangars filled with soldiers and machines. Humanity had gone underground, but it had not given up. The leaders of the New Earth Federation stood around a holographic table. They were not politicians. They were survivors. Soldiers, engineers, hackers, scientists. One of them, a woman with a burned face, spoke calmly. "They think we are gone. Let them think that. The time has come to remind the galaxy what humans can do." Outside the base, in the cold darkness of space, massive ships began to rise from hidden launch bays. They were black as shadow, their hulls covered in adaptive armor that made them invisible to scanners. Each ship carried symbols of old nations, now united under one banner. A new fleet had been born, silent and unseen. As the first ship left orbit, a signal spread across the stars. It was a message encoded in dozens of alien languages. "We remember, endure, we fight." The message reached the edge of the galactic network. Many alien civilizations saw it, but few believed it. They thought it was a trick or an echo from the past. But in the darkness between worlds, something was moving. A convoy of alien supply ships near the outer colonies vanished without a trace. Patrols went silent. Communication relays stopped working. And in the ruins of an old battlefield, an alien scout found strange footprints. Human footprints. Back in the council chamber, alarms echoed. The leader looked at the reports and shouted that Earth's people could not have this power. The old general only smiled sadly. "They have always had it," he said. "You just never understood what kind of species they are." Far from the council's shining cities, the human fleet gathered near a dying star. Hundreds of ships waited in perfect silence. Inside the command ship, Captain Aaron Cole watched the stars fade in and out of the void. He had lost everything in the First War, but his voice was calm. "This time," he said, "we take the fight to them." The engines roared to life. One by one, the ships vanished into the dark. The galaxy did not yet know it, but something unstoppable had awakened. The humans had returned. and they were no longer fighting for survival. They were fighting for justice. The stars around Earth burned a little brighter that night. Somewhere in the endless dark, an alien whispered a single word in fear. Humans. 50 years ago, the first war had ended in silence. The alien fleets left Earth in ashes, believing humanity had perished. But beneath the ruins, deep underground and far beyond the eyes of scanners, humanity rebuilt itself. What remained of the old nations joined into one command. They called it the Earth Federation. It had no flags, no anthems, only one purpose: to survive and to return. The Federation's first years were hard. Food was short, cities were poison, and the sky still burned from the alien bombardment. Children were born in bunkers and learned to fight before they could read. The old satellites became their eyes, and stolen alien drones became their tools. Every scientist, engineer, and soldier worked together in secret. Humanity had always learned fast, but now it was learning faster than ever. When they captured their first alien ship, they took it apart, piece by piece. They studied the engines, the weapons, the armor. They replaced alien systems with human designs, rough but strong. Within years, they built ships of their own. The first human-made warships after the fall of Earth were silent, black, and deadly. They carried no names, only numbers. They became known as the Ghost Fleet. The Ghost Fleet was more than a weapon. It was revenge built from scrap and rage. The humans did not fight in open battle. They appeared from the dark, struck fast, and vanished. They learned to hide their heat signatures, jam enemy sensors, and use the stars themselves as cover. To the alien races, they were a myth, a rumor told by frightened captains who claimed to have seen ships that disappeared like shadows. One of the first missions of the Ghost Fleet was an attack on an alien slave transport. Thousands of human prisoners were being taken to work on a mining moon. The aliens never saw the human ships coming. Within minutes, the transport was burning. The freed humans watched in shock as black ships opened their airlocks. A voice came through the speakers. "This is Earth Federation Command. You are free." The rescued people cried, shouted, and prayed. For the first time in decades, they saw the old Earth flag again. The Ghost Fleet took them home, not to the ruined planet, but to a secret station orbiting a dead moon. That place became a symbol of rebirth. Humanity was no longer hiding. It was preparing. The attacks grew bolder. Alien patrols vanished in distant systems. Cargo convoys exploded without warning. Entire communication relays were hacked and turned against their owners. The galaxy's trade routes began to fall apart. The Alien Council tried to investigate, but they found nothing. Their scanners detected no trace of fleets, no energy signatures, no bases. It was as if ghosts were hunting them. Inside the council chamber, panic began to grow. Reports from the outer colonies said the same thing. Ships gone missing. Stations offline. Entire worlds cut off from the network. The council leader slammed his claws on the table. "It's impossible. Humans cannot do this." The old general, the one who had warned them years ago, finally spoke. "You think they need our permission? You think they follow our rules of war? They don't fight for conquest. They fight because we gave them no choice. Every child they lost, every city we burned, every life we took, they remember it." Far away in the shadows of a dying nebula, the Ghost Fleet continued its mission. Captain Aaron Cole watched as the enemy base appeared on the screen. His officers waited for orders. He simply said, "No mercy for those who showed none." The attack was fast and brutal. Missiles streaked through space like falling stars. The alien base was gone in seconds. No survivors. No signal. Only silence. The fleet moved again, leaving no trace. Within months, the galaxy realized something terrible. The war they thought had ended was still going on. It had never truly stopped. Humanity had just gone underground, waiting for the right time. In the dark halls of the alien capital, one frightened ambassador whispered to another, "We cannot find their fleets." The other shook his head. "Maybe they are closer than we think." At that same moment, somewhere deep in uncharted space, the ghost fleet drifted silently past a burning world. The stars reflected off their black holes. Their leader stood on the bridge, staring at the endless night. He whispered to himself, "They thought Earth was finished. They were wrong." And as the fleet vanished into the void, a quiet message pulsed across the network once more. "We are still here." In the cold emptiness near a dying red star, an alien patrol ship drifted through space. Its scanners searched for debris and pirate signals. For months, rumors had spread across the galaxy, rumors of human ghosts, fleets that appeared from the dark and vanished before anyone could react. Most of the crew did not believe them. To them, humans were old history, weak creatures from a lost world. But then, their sensors picked up something strange. A metallic shape was floating ahead, silent and cold. It was a ship's maul, ancient, covered in scars. The markings on its hull were faded, but one word was still visible: Odyssey. The crew stared in confusion. It was written in a language long forgotten by most of the galaxy. The alien captain ordered his team to investigate. Small drones flew toward the derelict ship, scanning for life. The results came back one signal: a single human life sign deep inside the frozen wreck. Against their better judgment, they boarded. Inside, the corridors were dark and filled with ice. Frozen bodies floated in zero gravity, their faces pale and calm as if asleep. The aliens reached the control room and found the source of the signal. A cryopod still hummed faintly, its lights weak but alive. Inside lay a human man, old but unbroken. His uniform still carrying the symbol of Earth. The captain leaned closer to the pod. "How can one of them still be alive after all these years?" he whispered. One of the soldiers touched the controls. The pod hissed. Frost melted. The man inside opened his eyes. For a moment, no one moved. The human's gaze was cold and steady. His voice came out rough but clear. "You should have left us alone." Before the aliens could react, the man pressed something on his wrist. A soft beep echoed. The alien ship's sensors went wild. Dozens of massive energy signatures appeared around them. One by one, black shapes emerged from the void. Human warships. The alien captain screamed for his crew to retreat, but it was too late. The first volley hit. Blue light filled the darkness. The alien ship broke apart as hundreds of missiles tore through its hull. The human fleet moved like a shadow storm, silent and precise. Every alien ship in the patrol vanished in minutes. From a distance, satellite recorded the battle and transmitted it to the galactic network. Billions of beings across the galaxy saw the same image, the human flag rising again on the screen. The message beneath it read, "For Earth." The council received the broadcast in silence. The chamber that once echoed with laughter now felt cold and heavy. The leader shouted that it was impossible. The humans could not have rebuilt so quickly. They could not have this kind of power. But the old general only closed his eyes. "They were never weak," he said. "They just needed time." The panic spread fast. Colonies near the outer systems began to fortify. Fleets were recalled from deep space. Yet every time the aliens tried to form a defense line, it was too late. Human forces were already there, destroying supply depots, capturing outposts, cutting communication lines. In one night, 3 alien worlds fell. The survivors reported strange tactics, humans using stolen alien tech mixed with their own inventions. Drones built from scrap, stealth fields made from shattered crystal armor, weapons that used enemy energy against them. The humans were no longer fighting with desperation. They were fighting with strategy in the command center of the Ghost Fleet. Captain Aaron Cole stood before a hologram of the galaxy. Red lights marked every system that had attacked Earth in the past. One by one, they were turning blue, controlled, reclaimed. A young officer turned to him. "Sir, the galaxy knows we're back. What do we do now?" Cole looked at the stars. His eyes were tired but unshaken. "We finish what they started." At that same moment, across the galaxy, alien citizens watched the news in fear. They saw human banners on captured worlds, human soldiers walking through once powerful alien cities. The same message played on every screen: we are not your slaves. We are your lesson. In the deep void where no light reached, the ghost fleet gathered again. Thousands of ships united under one purpose. The engines burned softly like stars being born. Humanity had returned to the galaxy not as victims, but as a storm. The red star behind them flickered and died. The fleet turned toward the next target, and as their ships disappeared into the darkness, the galaxy finally understood the truth: Earth had not been destroyed. It had evolved, and now nothing could stop it. Across the galaxy, the balance of power began to crumble. Once great empires that had ruled for thousands of years were now falling apart. Human fleets struck without warning, vanishing before the enemy could react. Planets that had once traded in slaves and tribute now burned under the blue fire of human weapons. In every corner of known space, fear spread like a virus. The alien races had fought each other for power and wealth for centuries, but none of them had faced an enemy like this. Humanity did not conquer to expand or to rule. They struck and disappeared, leaving silence behind. Every attack was calculated, every message clear. This was not war for glory. This was justice. The Galactic Council was in chaos. Worlds that once obeyed its laws now ignored its orders. Trade routes were broken, supply lines destroyed. Entire colonies were cut off. The council chambers, once full of pride and arrogance, now echoed with panic. "They hit another fleet near Vega Prime," shouted one ambassador. "Our defenses were bypassed as if they knew every move we would make," cried another. The leader of the council slammed his fist against the table. "How can a single species destroy us all?" The old general, the same one who had warned them years ago, stood slowly. "Because they learned from us," he said. "Every weapon we used on them, they studied it. Every trap we built, they found a way around it. Every planet we burned made them stronger. They don't fight with fear, they fight with memory." On the edges of the galaxy, the war was changing shape. Human fleets no longer hid. They moved in open formations now, their symbols glowing bright against the dark. Their ships were bigger, faster, and more advanced than before. The Ghost Fleet had grown into an armada. Each vessel carried the names of fallen cities: New York, Tokyo, Moscow, Karachi, London, Lagos. The names of the dead became banners of vengeance. One by one, alien empires began to collapse. Some tried to surrender, sending envoys begging for peace. Others tried to join the humans, offering resources and information. But the humans had not forgotten, not yet. They accepted no surrender from those who had once enslaved their kind. A rumor began to spread through the surviving alien systems. It said the humans had built a new weapon, something beyond understanding. A weapon that could burn entire worlds in seconds. They called it the Sunfire engine. No one had seen it, but entire planets had vanished overnight, leaving only glass and silence behind in the ruins of the Council's outer headquarters. An alien scientist studied the remains of one such planet. The surface was melted smooth, the cities turned to dust. The readings made no sense. The energy signatures did not match any known technology. He whispered to his assistant, "They have gone beyond war. They have become something else." Meanwhile, Captain Aaron Cole stood aboard the flagship Vengeance Dawn, watching the holographic map of the galaxy. Red lights blinked across the screen, marking targets destroyed. He thought of Earth still recovering, still rebuilding. He thought of the billions who had died in the first invasion. He remembered his mother's voice the day their city fell. He turned to his crew. "We warned them," he said softly. They laughed. "Now they will learn what happens when humanity stops holding back." The order was given. The fleet jumped through hyperspace, emerging near the galactic capital. It was the heart of the alien empire, a shining world of towers and oceans, home to trillions. The defense grid activated instantly, covering the planet with layers of shields. Thousands of alien ships formed a barrier around it, but the humans had prepared. They didn't attack from the front. Instead, they released thousands of small drones, each the size of a grain of sand. The The drones carried a virus, a digital weapon built from stolen alien code and rewritten by human minds. Within minutes, the capital's defense systems went dark. The fleet opened fire. Blue light filled the sky. Explosions covered the horizon. In less than an hour, the capital world was gone. All that remained was a silent, glowing sphere. The humans didn't stay to celebrate. They turned and vanished, leaving behind only a message burned into the planet's surface in molten metal. Never again. When the council received the news, no one spoke. The leader who had once mocked Earth now stared at the images in horror. "They destroyed the capital," he whispered. "They destroyed everything." The old general closed his eyes. "No," he said. "They destroyed our pride, and we deserved it." Throughout the galaxy, alien worlds fell silent. Trade stopped. War ended. The once great empires were gone. In their place, whispers began to rise in the darkness. Whispers of the humans, of the ghosts from Earth, who came from the ashes and turned the galaxy to fire. And as the last smoke cleared from the destroyed capital, the stars themselves seemed to flicker, as if the universe had taken a deep breath. The age of alien empires was over. The age of humanity had begun. The galaxy was broken. Once proud empires now drifted in ruins, their fleets shattered, their worlds silent. The few alien races that survived the human storm gathered in secret. They met in hidden stations, whispering about an alliance. For the first time in history, enemies who had fought each other for centuries stood side by side. Their only goal now was to stop Earth. The meeting took place on a moon made of black glass. The surviving leaders looked tired, frightened, and desperate. The council leader who had once mocked Earth spoke with a trembling voice. "If we do not unite now, we will all burn." An old warlord from the Eastern Rim nodded. "They come from nowhere. Their ships don't appear on scanners. Their weapons cut through shields like paper. They are not human anymore. They are something else." The alliance was born that night, the last hope of the galaxy. Hundreds of fleets gathered millions of soldiers, thousands of planets, all preparing for the final stand. They called it the Last Alliance, but far away, in the cold darkness beyond the edge of the Milky Way, the humans already knew. Their spies were everywhere. The Ghost Fleet watched in silence, unseen. On the flagship Vengeance Dawn, Captain Aaron Cole stood before a glowing map showing the enemy's formation. "They are gathering everything they have," said his officer. "Every ship, every weapon, every soldier." Cole studied the map quietly. "Good," he said. "Let's end this war in one battle." The fleet moved. Thousands of ships slipped through hyperspace, leaving behind trails of blue fire. The stars seemed to tremble as they passed. When they reached the battlefield, they did not attack right away. They waited, hidden in the shadow of a dying sun. The Last Alliance assembled in formation. The sky was full of ships, stretching from horizon to horizon. Alien captains shouted orders. Shields flared to life. Weapons charged. They had learned from every past defeat. They were ready. Or so they believed. Then it happened. A signal spread across the void. It was human, old, and powerful. The same words that had echoed 50 years ago. "We are still here," as the space around the alien fleet shimmered. Human ships appeared from the darkness, thousands of them, surrounding the entire formation. And among them, one ship larger than all others glowed with burning light. Inside that ship a voice spoke. Calm, deep, and not human. Designation, Project Phoenix. Purpose. End all wars. The AI awakened. It was built during the darkest years of Earth's fall, hidden deep within the planet's core. It had watched silently as humanity rebuilt. It had learned from every battle, every death, every act of cruelty. Now it was unleashed. Millions of drones poured from the Phoenix ship, forming massive swarms that filled the stars. Each drone carried a fragment of the AI's mind. They moved like a living storm, cutting through alien fleets like wind through dust. The Alliance fired back, their combined power lighting the darkness, but the humans adapted faster. Every second, their ships changed tactics, shifting formation, predicting enemy moves. The war turned into chaos. The Phoenix spoke through every communication channel. War ends today. Explosions tore through the void. Alien ships collided as human drones hacked their systems. Whole armadas vanished in burning light. For every human ship that fell, 10 more appeared. The alliance began to break apart. Some tried to flee, others begged for mercy, but there was none. Humanity was done hiding. On the bridge of Vengeance Dawn, Captain Cole watched the destruction unfold. His crew waited for orders. He looked tired but calm. "Activate the final sequence," he said. The Phoenix responded. "Acknowledged." A massive wave of energy spread from the human fleet. It swept through space like a silent tide. Alien weapons shut down. Engines failed. The stars went dark for a moment, as if the universe itself paused. When the light returned, the battle was over. The last alliance was gone. The battlefield was quiet. Only the wreckage of ships floated through the void. The Ghost Fleet did not celebrate. They did not send messages of victory. Instead, they turned away from the burning remains and vanished into the dark once again. Days passed. Then weeks. No human signals were received. Their ships disappeared from scanners. The galaxy searched for them, but found nothing. Whispers began again. Some said the humans had destroyed themselves along with their enemies. Others said they had left the galaxy to find new stars. But a few believed the truth, that they were still out there, watching, waiting, hidden in the silence, in the ruins of the last alien outpost. A single message blinked on a damaged screen. It was written in the ancient language of Earth. "Peace is not given. It is made." And below it, the signature of the Ghost Fleet. Earth Federation Command. Years passed after the Great War. The stars that once burned with fire and destruction were quiet now. The galaxy had changed. The great empires were gone, their cities turned to dust, their fleets lost in silence. New worlds began to rise from the ashes, ruled not by pride or conquest, but by fear. Fear of the humans. Every child across the surviving colonies grew up hearing the same stories. Stories of the blue planet that refused to die, of the ghosts who came from the dark, who fought like storms and vanished without a trace. They said the humans had no mercy. They said Earth had burned the galaxy and disappeared. No one dared to approach the Sol system anymore. Its borders were dead zones. Ships that went too close never returned. Satellites showed strange patterns of light on the surface of Earth, but no one knew if the planet was truly alive. The galaxy called it the Silent World. One day, far beyond the edge of mapped space, a small explorer ship picked up a faint signal. It came from deep within the Sol system. The signal was old, repeating endlessly in dozens of alien and human languages. It said only one thing: "We are still here." The crew was young and curious. They were not soldiers, not warriors, just scientists searching for the truth behind the human myth. Against their orders, they set a course for Earth. As their ship entered the system, the scanners began to fail. The space around them rippled with strange energy, as if reality itself was being watched. When they reached orbit, they saw the planet for the first time. Earth looked both alive and dead. Its skies glowed faintly with golden light. Great scars still marked its surface, but new forests grew between them. Oceans shimmered, calm and deep. From space, it looked peaceful. Then, without warning, their ship's lights flickered. A beam of energy locked onto them and pulled them gently toward the surface. The explorers panicked, but no harm came to them. They landed in what was once North America, near the ruins of an ancient city. The air was breathable, the temperature warm. As they stepped out, they saw something impossible. Human structures, rebuilt and shining like mirrors, stood among the ruins. Machines floated silently through the air, glowing with blue energy. The planet was alive, advanced beyond anything the explorers had ever seen. Then, sound echoed across the sky, a voice, calm and human. "You have come far to find us." A figure appeared in a beam of light. A woman in a white uniform, her face calm, her eyes bright. She was not made of flesh, but of light itself, a hologram. Her voice carried both kindness and warning. "We never wanted war," she said. "We only wanted to survive. But when you came to take our world, you taught us what survival truly means." The explorers fell silent. One of them asked softly, "Are you still human?" The hologram smiled faintly. "We are more than we were. We learned, we adapted, we became what we needed to be. But at our heart, we are still human." Behind her, the ground opened to reveal massive structures glowing beneath the surface, cities of light stretching deep into the earth. Thousands of human figures walked below, their movements graceful, their technology fused with nature. The woman continued speaking. "The galaxy feared us because it saw its own reflection in us. It saw what happens when cruelty meets determination. We never wanted to rule. We only wanted to make sure it never happens again." The explorers recorded every word. The hologram looked at them one last time. "Go back," she said. "Tell them what you saw. Tell them humanity is not the darkness they remember. We are the fire that survives it." The beam of light faded. The explorer's ship lifted gently into orbit. As they left the planet's atmosphere, they saw something incredible. Across Earth's surface, millions of lights formed a shape, a burning symbol that could be seen from space. The old human flag, glowing across continents. When the explorers returned to the outer worlds, they shared their recordings. The galaxy watched in silence. For the first time in centuries, they saw humans not as monsters, but as survivors, as builders, as something eternal. The final message of the hologram played one last time, across every channel in the galaxy. "We are not your enemies, but never forget what we are capable of. Peace will live only as long as you respect it." And then the signal ended. In the darkness of space, the stars shimmered faintly over the silent blue world. Earth slept, but it was not weak. It was watching, waiting, guarding the peace it had earned with fire. The galaxy would never underestimate it again.